If you're anything like me, your Sims in The Sims 3 have more than enough stuff already. 5 stuff packs filled with hundreds of objects and clothes, and even more than that if you have the expansions installed, which add metric crap tons more. Combined, these provide most every kind of object your Sim could want, so really, what's left? Ah, of course, type 2 diabetes and phoned-in celebrity endorsements. Yes, it's Katy Perry Sweet Treats, the second pack to carry Katherine Hudson's stage name, and what might be the 6th stuff pack to The Sims 3. I say might be because it doesn't explicitly say stuff pack on the box, but it is definitely made up of stuff pack-like stuff. So just looking at this box art, I don't really know what to classify this stuff pack as, other than useless, but that may just be me feeling a bit cynically presumptuous. In Katy Perry Sweet Treats, discover a sweet new hangout herder. How clever and punny. Good things do grow on trees. What? Have they never heard of fruit? Was this ever up for debate? Your Sims will look good enough to eat. Well, at least any budding Miami cannibal zombies now have a game tailored to their flesh-eating desires. Install the pack, start it up, and your eyes are molested with the most nauseatingly saccharine loading screen I have ever seen. Just looking at this makes me feel I should call my dentist and buy an insulin pump. Choose a saved game, or jump right into a new one, whatever helps you get your kink on quicker. The new content comes in 5 sugary categories: usable objects, not so usable objects, build mode objects, ridiculous lots, and questionable clothes. Honestly, I can describe every single one of them to you in about 5 seconds. They're exactly the same things you already have in the game, but with basic candy stencils and geometry glued on at random. Although, I suppose you want me to take a nice, long, in-depth look at every sugar-coated thing in here. Alright, but allow me to preface this and say that I really don't like you. First, we've got usable objects, which consists of objects that your Sims can do something with other than simply look at. You've got candy-themed hobbies and toys, candy-themed storage items, candy-themed lights, candy-themed bars and counters, candy-themed furniture, candy-themed playground equipment, candy-frickin'-themed fireworks. You get the frickin' idea. If it's here, it will probably give you cavities just looking at it. You even get candy-themed bikes, which I guess have the advantage of being edible if you're hungry while out and about. Of course, they also have the disadvantage of being friggin' dumb, but we'll not mention that. The quality of the design of these items really varies though, with some items like this bed being totally decked out in nicely modeled candy-coated silliness, but then others like this futon and chair might be mistaken for third-rate freebie custom content. I mean, really, what the crap kind of sweets are they supposed to be? I guess the futon sort of looks like a cupcake with a doofy red round thing on top that looks like the world's laziest modeled cherry, and maybe this pink chair is reminiscent of taffy, but that's pushing the limits of my imagination. And it can't just be me that takes one look at a house decked out like this and thinks, what in the holy name of tastefulness, who would want this? I can understand maybe having a random candy-themed item or two just for the novelty of it, but a whole freaking pack's worth with dozens of items? I can just imagine Willy Wonka and the witch from Hansel and Gretel looking for houses, coming across this one and going, yeah, screw that. That's too much. And it doesn't stop with these objects. Oh no, you have a slew of build mode objects and unusable decor items, including fences, gates, doors, fountains, plants that aren't plants at all, they're candy, tacky wallpaper, nonsensical windows, campy columns, and a bunch of random decorative doohickeys that do nothing whatsoever. Sure, I guess I can't fault them for doing what they set out to do, which is to look absolutely absurd, but I just can't see anyone using these with any kind of seriousness. I admit that I am definitely not the target demographic for this pack, but who is? The Candy Man? People who have it out for Wilford Brimley? Unwavering Katy Perry fans? Well, maybe the last one is a bit more on target, as pretty much all of this sorta kinda does tie into her current Candyfornia fetish. And there is also a Simlish version of her song Last Friday Night TGIF included on the in-game radio. But this begs the question, why didn't this stuff come with the Katy Perry edition of the Showtime expansion? That just seems like the logical place for all of this, not an overpriced expansion all on its own. But of course, the money and contract deals involved with EA make it perfectly clear why this exists, never mind. Getting back on track here, you also get the 3 pre-made town lots that show off just how ridiculously over the top this pack is. Patty's Natural Baths Pool, the Cake Pleasure Dome Hangout, and Bon Bon Lawn Park round out the trio of locations that would make even Milton S. Hershey pause to reconsider their existence. Lastly, you have a bunch of candy-coated questionable clothing to force your Sims to wear. These are all for adult female Sims. Well, you do get like 2 things for dudes and none for kids. And it mostly consists of tops and bottoms you'd expect to see laying around a Goodwill thrift store or gathering dust in the clearance section of TJ Maxx. These clothes, some of them aren't so bad, but then you come across things like the dumbest hairdo known to mankind or this cherry-nippled delight. Seriously, the nipples are cherries. There's no other way to put it. Cherry nipples. Yes, I know a lot of these are Katy Perry-based designs, but that doesn't make them any less cringeworthy as far as I'm concerned. If I ever see a Sim walking around town wearing any of this, I will invite them over to my Sweet Treats House of Pain to enjoy a nice home-cooked meal of candied Sim flesh. So now for the final question. Is the Sims 3 Katy Perry Sweet Treats pack worth buying or not? Well, unlike previous $20 stuff packs, this one retails at $30 freaking. Yes, you heard me, and I thought it was a joke at first too. Granted, it does come with a couple dozen more objects than previous stuff packs, but they pretty much all suck. Okay, maybe that's a bit harsh, but you know what? This is the first stuff pack for the game that I was genuinely not planning on getting whatsoever if I weren't committed to making this review. It has absolutely zero content that interests me because it doesn't fit in with what I like to see in my game in the slightest. Maybe this stuff pack really appeals to some people. Maybe you're a huge Katy Perry fanatic. But is it really worth $30 for this stuff? Stuff that does not fit in at all with the overall theme of the entire rest of the game, other than the previous Katy Perry stuff? It just reeks of a greedy cash grab resulting from strange contract terms, and this is just pure conjecture, but I feel this was content that was needlessly held back from the Showtime Limited Edition. I don't know, I can only see a very minute and limited appeal in a pack like this, and I especially don't see the appeal of paying the asking price for it, so I simply cannot recommend it at all. Don't get me wrong, I like The Sims 3, I even like some stuff packs, but as far as I'm concerned, this is the absolute worst so far because of its minuscule scope, and the scope that it's chosen makes little to no sense at all. Now if you'll excuse me, all this candy and reviewing has me hungry and confused, so now I'm going to go and try to find some way to actually put this game to use.
Katy Perry Sweet Treats!